Hello captains, welcome back to another video. My name is Adam and today we are looking over two airports, the Eglin Default Airport and the Hawaiian Honolulu. So I've just updated my sim again. I've put in the Terraflora trees
on runway,
and I've put in Hawaiian Islands, which is a free scenery which you can get off the Riku RIKOO website. It works with prepared up to version 4, it's like 1 to 4, and FSX, and we're going to fly the two runways in Honolulu and this one now, Eglin, and we should be able to see a difference in this with the Terraflora trees. Now, to be honest, now just looking at it actually, I think I can already see a difference. These trees, I'm sure, were not there. I'll have to check the video. In the last video we were here, we landed, I'm sure these trees were not there like that. So, we'll have to see. So, let's have a look.
On runway.
Yeah, I definitely think these trees have been added.
On runway.
Let's see our frames. Our frames have slightly increased. I'd say. I think we were getting between 35 frames. Now we seem to be getting around 50-ish. So, but yeah, I can definitely. Them types of trees were not there, I'm sure, when I installed Orbix Global. We're in Florida at the moment, so yeah. Okay, so I think we're facing again the wrong way. It seems to be putting us always at the end of the runway the opposite way, which oh no, I think we're at the right end here. Flaps up. So if we just have a quick look outside, yeah, these, where all these trees were, was just the default scenery. Like here, this was the default, this is default P3D, that's still there, simply because I haven't got any, like Florida terrain to go in it, so we need to be definitely look at all that there. All these trees here were not part of the map before, so okay, we're going to land on this airport here, and if my memory serves me correctly, there were some trees already positioned. Definitely. A lot of trees there. And it hasn't even really affected the frames. So considering it adds quite a lot of visual value in the sim, because it hides all that ugly P3D default texture underneath, it doesn't impact the sim that much. So that's pretty cool, that. Now, yeah, if my memory serves me correctly, we had some like Bahama-looking trees on the right-hand side, and we had some trees on the left-hand side, if my memory serves me correctly. We'll have to see if that is true when we come into land. I can't see. I mean, it's a bit far away to me, but I can't see anything, any trees. But everything's still looking pretty much the same as we left it, really. So I was going to load in as well some Africa scenery as well. Now, sadly, the Africa scenery that I have is the cause of the crash of P3D a week ago when I installed it and then went to go fly it, and it broke my sim, and no matter what I tried, I just could not get it back. So, and And I didn't realize, obviously, until now that that was the fault of it. Again, it was freeware. I got it off that website where I got the Hawaiian Islands, and I've also got an Israel and a Lebanon pack as well, and I'll be very cautious when I input them into the sim. But I was very concerned when I installed the African pack today. It basically crashed the sim again, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to reinstall everything. But what I learned that I could do, which I don't know if I should have done it this way, is to really high here, was to copy, because I kept, when I first installed P3D, I kept a clean copy of my P3D config and my scenery config. I snatched a clean one, and we need to lose some height here, we're really high. And I saved it in a location for this very reason.
1, 4.
Right, look, we're gonna have to full flap it now, I think, just to get down. There we go. Just for this very reason, and I basically, yes, I can see the trees now. I don't think it's actually changed these trees here, but it has added all these trees. I don't even think we're going to make the runway now. Here we go. So yeah, I saved a blank version of the config files, my scenery and my P3D one, for this very reason, so I could basically go in and swap it out. So I did that when it crashed. I swapped it out, I deleted the software, I deleted all the folders, I deleted everything I could find. Here we go. Oh gosh, this is going to be a hard landing. Oh gosh, that was a bumpy ride. Right, I think that was our turning off actually, but never mind. We'll get off the next one. Yeah, I deleted everything, set the new one in, and obviously when I started P3D, nothing was loading in with it because it wasn't in the config file. So what I did, here we go, this is our turn off. What I did then was reactivate Orbix in the, yeah, it does make a big difference, look at that. Oh my gosh. Reactivate Orbix in the FTX Central, re-put it into the sim, getting the FTX to activate the software, and also basically going, I've got FS Global, and it gives you the option, do you want a full install or do you just want to install the scenery files? So I just installed the scenery files, which put it back into P3D. Luckily, that was really the only scenery software we had installed, was FS Global and Orbix. Everything else was, and Rex Airports. So I just installed the textures again, and everything came back. Now, I went up to Canada to check to see what it looked like with Orbix, and there were black tiles everywhere. So there has been a bit of a cock-up when doing it this way. You get everything back, but you might find that Orbix Global would need to be reinstalled again, I think. Or certain regions might need to be reinstalled again, like remove it from the sim and put it back in again. And then that will hopefully cover up the blank textures. What I did is I just installed Ultimate Terrain Canada 2 and that covered everything, and it looks really good up in Canada. Which in the future video we will go and check out. The next location we're going to go is Hawaii, but I just want to say, if you go back to earlier videos when we first landed at this airport, in the C152 video, the airport looked a lot different to this. That building looks like it's actually had hurricane damage on it. What is happening on that corner? Oh my god, they've had a hurricane sweep through here or something. Look at the damage on that roof. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this airport here looked a lot different when we were installing the Chase Plane add-on, when we installed FS Global and everything. Oh my gosh, yes. That was a big difference, that one. Okay, so now we're going to Honolulu. And I have already checked this out to make sure it worked, right? And it did work. But the first thing, when I first loaded it, it didn't seem to have loaded it properly. It seemed to have done it a little bit funny. And I thought, oh gosh, this ain't worked. And it's like really low quality mesh, or it's really low quality textures, or it's just rubbish. But what had actually happened is it just needed to fully load in, because I literally, as soon as it loaded in and the airplane was there, my engine's running, I took off, and like the airport hadn't properly finished loading, the background terrain hadn't finished loading properly, and after about a minute it then fully loaded, and the background mesh was looking really basic and looking really rubbish, and I thought, yeah, this isn't as good as I thought it was. But as I got closer to that mesh, it actually then worked out fine and actually looked a lot better than the Orbix, what it had done to Hawaii. If this is better than Mega Scenery X, their version of Hawaii, the 2.0, I don't know. I have got that, but I'm very not inclined to use it, only because this is a more recent release of software than the Hawaii one. So yeah, if you look in the background here, that's what it looked like before it loaded everything in, and I was going, oh gosh, this is really ugly. And here was all like blue, like the airport hadn't loaded in properly, but it looks like, by the looks of it, it's loaded it in straight away. So I think what happens is, on the very first time you load it, it ain't gonna load properly. It's just gonna load basic, and then it takes a couple of more, like the next time you load into it, it's going to load it fully. Oh, we got proper flaps here, yeah. So this is the Honolulu, the Hawaiian Islands software that I installed. Let's take off. I have got Honolulu Airport as a separate add-on as well, and that's something that I will be adding in the future. But even just now, this is looking pretty good. These are Rex Airport HD add-on air textures. Their Orbix have also added a few things in here as well, which are still lying around. Where the signs, which seem to be a little bit blacked out actually. And then the rest of everything else is what comes with the Hawaiian Island. Now it's a VFR texture, which means that is at the actual, like a photograph basically of the actual texture. The coloring looks really weird off. The water looks much better than it did before. Down here, this texture is designed for FSX, that's why it looks really pixelated here. But when you're at a certain height, it's going to look a lot better. So we're actually going to climb here to about 3,000 feet and check out and come back to the airport and see what it looks like. I can already see ahead here how different this looks. All this terrain here looks a lot better. There was less buildings that went up here. Slightly off track here. Let's lean it this way a bit. There were less buildings here. There were actual buildings, sorry, that Orbix had placed. This looks like it's just pure mesh, which means it's going to lower your frame rates because there's less objects to be placed in. So the Hawaiian Islands software add-on is taking care of Hawaii and the Orbix isn't. So there will be a few things we have to be seeing now, building-wise. that were there before that aren't here now. But the trade-off is this texture looks a lot better than the P3D default texture that was being put into the sim, and the Orbex was manipulating. Now, this is, for me, I think a much better looking sim, or area to fly over. See, the higher you get, you don't notice that blurriness, that pixelated look on the houses and that. They actually look from a distance. So if you were flying in the 737 and you were coming in to land at Honolulu, this would look proper good. I'm going to take us up to 3,000. We're just at 2,000, and then I'm going to turn back around and stay at 3,000. We'll fly over the airport. I mean, look at that. That looks a lot better, I feel, than what we saw before. This looks a little bit blah, a little bit bland, but the closer we get, the more detail this starts to fill out. You can see it changing, you get more detail as we go in, and that's just because it's loading as we fly. So all that then will start to sort of load in properly and become more looking like proper texture. I think the deal is you meant to look at your side window, really, not the what's ahead. But I think once it loads in anyway, you're kind of good to go. So we're going to do a turn here and go back to the airport and fly over the airport. The other airport that we're going to fly through is DFW, just because they have a very different looking type of terrain for the trees, and I just want to see what the Terraflora trees look like in that area. So we're going to do a turn now, because we're coming up to 3,000. So let's turn back and head towards the airport. I'm not too bothered if we still climb, simply because I do want to get a bit of height just to see what the airport looks like at a higher altitude. This turn is insane, by the way. So I think we'll fly just up alongside the airport. Here we go. Land it off. Stall soon. Is my mixture thing working? Yeah, it is. It's cool. Right, so as we fly back now, this looks a lot better, I feel, than it did before, even though there's less buildings. I mean, when Orbex was sorting it out, here was just filled with 3D buildings. None of these buildings are 3D. They are simply satellite data layered onto the mesh. Excuse me. And so we do lose that 3Dness, but the gain is frames per second. Our frames are a lot smoother now than what they were before, and you still do get quite a lot of buildings over here that are 3D. You know, I mean, that's, I can tell they're buildings, and there's a swimming pool there. It looks what it looks like, to be honest. That's what it looks like if you fly over this area. Ooh, I've a bit of turbulence here. Right, I think that's high enough for the level off now. So, if we, gosh, flying over the coast, it's a bit bumpy. Right, so if, gosh, the plane's going to go down in a minute. I do like the look here, the look down here in this. Oh, you know what? I can't really be a tour guide here and fly over the coast. We'll do it like this then. So yeah, down here looks a lot better from this altitude, and this water here on the side, I do like the look of the water, the way they've created that water. It looks really pretty cool. Let's just do that so we can see. So yeah, it's the airport looks a little bit better from the air, I feel. I don't think, well, let's just do a flyover of of the actual airport itself. Oh gosh, man. I tell you what, we've just knackered our plane here. Overspeed completely. 160 miles an hour in a dive. Yeah, we've just broken up. There you go. Oh gosh. But yeah, I do like this area here with the water textures and everything. It does look good. It's gonna load a, I don't know why it does this. It's gonna load a default plane now and a thingy. You know what? We're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep this. We're just gonna go to DFW. In fact, you know what? We don't really need to. We've seen the trees in Florida. I just wanted to see if they looked any different, but it does. Terraflora does change the trees. Now, there was one thing actually I found when I first loaded Terraflora in, and that is it didn't show any trees. And I'm like, where's all my trees, man? And there's two things you need to make sure that are correct in the sim. Terraflora doesn't actually change your scenery config or anything. It doesn't install into the P3D folder. Where it installs the information is in your program data, that sort of route of files. So program data, Lockheed Martin, P3D version 4, and then you'll find, I think it's scenery, I think. No, sorry, beg your pardon, scratch that. You go to your normal P3D version 4 file, and you go into that, and in there's a file called scenery, and you open that up, and then you go to another file that's called global, and you open that up, and a scenery again, and in there will be some files, and there should be, in fact, let me just bring it up actually, and that way we can do it. So in here, program files, Lockheed Martin, prepared version 4, go into scenery, then scroll down to global, and go into scenery again. Now all these files here are for your sim, and there's two files that they want you to look at, which are these two here: vegetation BGL and vegetation TF-BGL. Now, as long as you've got these two files in and that one says off, it should show up in your sim. If that doesn't say off, then you just need to put off. If I was to take that off away, the trees here would not be here. Okay? I don't know where we are, but we're going to DFW. The other one is, it wants you to do is go to your options and go to display, and there is a button that says 3D vegetation draw something or other, auto gen 3D vegetation or something like that, and you have to untick it, and by unticking that it removes what's called your P3D speed trees, which is a feature tree of the P3D, and it allows Terraflora to put down its own trees, which are the trees we see in my sim now. If you don't untick that box and you don't ensure that them two files are properly in there, then you'll see nothing, and you won't even know that Terraflora is not installed into your system. I've seen the models of Terraflora on their website, and the models look really nice, and they especially look good in the winter time. They have, I think, better looking trees than the Orbex HD trees, and it doesn't require you to have Orbex HD trees installed into your system, and you don't need to remove them either. It just works alongside it, and I think it's really, really good. And that's what we've put in, Terraflora trees, as well as that Hawaiian Islands, which some people might say, oh, I preferred the before because everything was already there and nothing loaded in as you went. But you know what, if you're flying in from a 737 flying over Hawaii first, that's what's going to happen. It's going to load in as you fly, and then by the time you get down to that level, everything's going to look brilliant. But because we flew in low first, it was doing that exact same thing, loading as we go. But for me, it looks more real. It's actual photography data of that island, of that area. They're actual. It's what you see if you flew over, and that to me is more important than a 3D building built on a computer that may look a little bit cooler, or because there's loads of them in there, it may look cooler because they're 3D buildings. Well, that doesn't really excite me because they're not real, and the texture terrain, the texture on the terrain didn't look real either. It wasn't. It was like a picture put on a mesh, and it looked like it was done on the computer. It looked like it was done in Microsoft Paint or something. I prefer the actual photography mesh placed on, or the actual photography texture placed on the mesh. And that's why I've got a little bit of a love for the mega scenery stuff that they do. They have that, so I have a little bit of a love for it. So let's see, things are loading in still a little bit here. I've noticed that it takes a little bit longer to load stuff in than it did before. I don't really see trees. I see some over here in the distance, but I don't really see much difference in anything else here. It shouldn't be really, because I haven't touched it. And we have come back here since. Well, this plane looks a little bit different. Feels like it's different anyway. Let's take off. This thing moves. Yeah, the trees down here, they're different. There's a lot of texture still trying to load in, actually. That's a bit blurry. Or no, it is loading in. There we go. Yeah, that's a little bit funky. To be honest, though, that texture here is P3D texture, and it looks hideous anyway, to be honest. So I think my roads have disappeared, actually. See, now this is the thing that worried me when that African software buggered up the scenery. I've lost all my roads. Look, all my roads are gone. It's just big grassy fields, things. All the highways. So that's what's worried me here, is I may have to reinstall everything in order to get certain things back. Because, I mean, look at that. That's ridiculous. That's the airport. It's the stuff just before the airport. It's still loading in. That's just a bit silly, though. I don't know what. See, this is what was going on with Canada when I tested it out. I mean, it's going bug-eyed, isn't it? It's like it's showing nighttime textures as well. So they're trying to load in. So I mean, I've got Mega Scenery X for Texas anyway, so I have a feeling all this rubbish will get sorted out when I install that. I mean, frame rates are gone right down to 15, to be fair. I might have to just do fresh reinstall, I think, because ever since I did that quick fix, I've lost roads. Or I might just reinstall global. I might just reinstall global and come back and see what happens, and then I'll work it out that way. I mean, that's P3D default texture, that is, with Orbex houses placed on top. Trees, as well as Terraflora trees placed in. So it's just the roads here, all the highways just disappeared. It's a bit weird, though. Right, well, I guess we'll end the video here then, and I will go and research all that and check out what's happening. And the next video we do will be when I install Mega Scenery. So I'll install Mega Scenery for Texas, and we can come back and look at Dallas again and see how that's loaded. I've got some Mega Scenery for some other states, but we haven't really flown there. I've got Florida, so I could install that one. And that'll be it really. I'll install Mega Scenery for the next video, and we'll come and see what difference this makes. I think, to be honest, I'm gonna have to probably start again with the whole reinstall because it's getting a bit glitchy now. And I think when I did that little cock up with that African software, it's really messed the sim up, and I think I'm gonna have to reinstall global again, just so it's placed back in properly. I might even just have to reinstall everything again, I don't know. But either way, in the next video we'll be looking at the Mega Scenery add-ons and how they differ from what we've just seen now. So until then, take care, thanks for watching. As always, leave your comments of where you'd like to see me fly with the what you see here. If you like what you see, then leave a comment and a like, and subscribe so you can make sure you get every single video when it comes out every week. Thanks again, and take care. I'll keep on flying, guys. Bye.